Welcome to Sports for Supper, live from Sammy's Restaurant at 202 U.S. Highway 90 East in Castroville. Sports for Supper, a weekly look at what's happening in area sports. And now, along with Maury Stein, Dwayne Garza, and Jeff Stivers, here's the host of Sports for Supper, Jared Lucky.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the sixth edition of Sports for Supper. This week, we're coming off of a off week. We didn't have a show last week. There wasn't a football game, but the volleyball team was still in full swing last week and last night. And we are joined by Coach Franklin, the freshman coach.
Yep.
And two of the players that we'll talk to after we talk with her. But, Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. This is your first time here, right?
It is, yeah. Excited.
Tell us a little bit about the freshman team this year and what Medina Valley's got coming up for next year.
Definitely. So the freshman team are a bunch of go-getters. They are they're their own breed. They are very go-getter, but they are also a little goofy on the side. They like to have fun. But most importantly, they love the sport. So they're very coachable. It's exciting to watch the front row, especially. I mean, the middles have great swings. It's going to be really good for Panther volleyball in the future. So I'm excited for them.
And so I know can you start in sixth grade now in school, or is it seventh and eighth grade still?
Yeah, so in sixth grade, it's pre-athletics, and then seventh and eighth is when we start seeing, our teams being formed.
Like organized.
Right,
school.
yeah,
Okay.
Exactly. I mean, we still have girls that are, playing outside of school even earlier than that. But as far as our school district goes, we play starting seventh.
And a question I have is, so freshman girls, you're new to high school, you're still going to hit growth spurts, things like
Absolutely.
that. So how difficult is it to get somebody to play one position, then next year they're 6 inches taller and they might be playing somewhere else? How does that factor in?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the kind of growing areas that we literally see when it comes to freshmen. Some of them have reached their growth spurt, some of them haven't yet. So it really depends on the kid, and you just have to know, okay, is this kid coachable? Do we see them, somewhere else in the future? And then I think freshman year is a time to figure that out, play a different, couple of different spots, and then really knowing them. I mean, you'll have some kids that are super comfortable and, hey, let's try every single spot on the floor, and then you'll have another kid that says, no, I just want to play, I just want to learn this, and I just want to be a perfectionist at this. So it's really just knowing the kid.
You kind of wish that you had everyone on the team with 6-inch growth spurts, so you'd have a big front line every time, every year.
I would not be upset at all. No, that would be the goal. Absolutely.
So how many freshmen are out for the team this year?
Yeah, so right now we have 16. So it's a pretty large group, and we're excited for every single one of them. I mean, it's a big group, and that's what we can kind of expect from Medina Valley moving forward. As our, groups of kiddos get bigger, you can see our teams getting bigger and, moving forward as it comes athletic-wise.
Have you seen newer faces from people moving into the district and things like that? Has it affected y'all already?
Absolutely. So we had quite a few transfer students come in even in the summer and, start with strength and conditioning camp, and even to tryouts we saw new kids. And then even when season started, we saw kids coming in that had played previously. So it's an adjustment period as a coach to know that we're going to get kids coming in and transferring, but it's also exciting, right? Because new talent and new perspectives.
Are the freshmen only allowed to play on the freshman squad, or is there some that are on the JV?
So we have 2 on the JV right now, and anybody can play up. Previously we've had a freshman before on varsity, Spencer McCool, who's on varsity now as a senior. So it definitely can happen, and I think it's whoever wants to be out on the floor and give it their all.
So are there two teams, or all 16 are on
all
just
16
one team?
are on one team.
Wow.
How hard is that to try to get everybody in?
It's difficult. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we rotate jerseys. Other times it's figuring it out and how can I do it. I think that every single one of our girls deserves time on the floor, and that's why we have 16. And their personalities just – and it's kind of that attitude of family. I mean, everybody knows that when someone comes in – it doesn't matter who's on the floor. Everybody's in it for everyone.
And how long have you been at Medina Valley?
This is my second year at the high school, my fourth year at Medina Valley. I started out at Lacoste Elementary as
Okay.
fifth grade. Yeah.
So, so the varsity team, they've been on a pretty good winning streak since the Harlandale game, right?
Yep.
Does that, as a coach coaching freshmen and then seeing them excel on a varsity level as they move on, how does that make you feel personally as a coach,
Yeah, absolutely amazing. It's fun to watch kids grow, right? Freshman year, most of them are still kind of growing into their bodies, trying to figure themselves out. And then you see them as a senior or junior, sophomore, and they're really starting to figure it out. And I think that's what we see at the varsity level, even at the beginning of season to now. We see a huge transition of those kids moving together, working together, and it's exciting.
How do you see the numbers from the other schools in the district? Do they equal the numbers, like 16 on the freshman squad, or is a lot of teams facing that same challenge to try to deal with or not deal with, get that much playing time out of all the players?
Yeah, I think it just depends. Some coaches are, set in stone that, 12, 13 is kind of that magic number for a volleyball team. But for us, I think it has to do with knowing the kids and seeing they have potential, especially at the freshman level. And then from there, obviously, we have more of a 12, 13 spot on the varsity and JV side.
Well, anything else, Maury? Nope.
Nope.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you being here, and hopefully we'll see you again in the future here.
Yeah.
And if you'll move the mic over, we'll start with
I
some
can
of the
do
players.
that. There you go.
And if you'll, you don't want to go first. So if you'll tell us your name, position, year in school, that kind of thing.
I'm Brooke Piper. I'm a setter, and I'm a junior.
And you're on the varsity team.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the last few matches. Who did y'all play? I know y'all won, but kind of tell us a little bit about those matches and what you got coming up Friday.
So our last game that we played was Southwest, and we beat them the second round in district in 3 sets. And we've been on a pretty good winning streak since Harlandale. On Friday, we play McCullum, which we lost to first round in districts, but I really have a lot of faith in us this coming up Friday.
So the theme from the coaches being here before was always that the mistakes that y'all committed yourselves were what was beating y'all. Have y'all kind of fixed that a little bit coming forward? Like, do you feel a little more confident going into the McCullum game?
I think we have. I know for me as a player, I've gotten a lot more confident since I've had more time to play with my team overall as the season continues.
And being a setter, tell us a little bit about how difficult it is, because I would imagine you have a lot of people wanting the ball. A lot of your hitters are calling for it. Mm-hmm. How do you decide where you're going with the ball?
It's really about the placement of the pass is what I determine it off. And also our goal is to try to switch up the blockers on the other side of the team, so split the offense. And really, whoever calls it the loudest, I listen to that and go to them.
Matches, and it just seems like the hitters have just been on fire the last couple of matches. If there's a kill shot to be made, it's being made. What do you attribute that to? Has it just been that Coach Griggs has gotten a little tougher sometimes on y'all, or do y'all see kind of what the mistakes y'all are making and you can figure it out?
I think so too, and I think also we've built a lot of setter-hitter connecting as we practice more, and so we connect better with the set and the hit.
Do you know, say, like, this girl's had 3 or 4 kills in a row, do you take that into account, know in the back of your head, like, hey, she's right there, I need to get her the ball now?
Whenever we get in our little, breakdown, I tend to go to the person that I know I can rely on to make a safe spot.
Do you just basically play the back row and set, or do you
Yes.
serve at all?
I serve, but I just play back row and set.
Everyone has to serve, right?
Everyone that goes in the back row
Yeah.
has to serve.
Okay.
Front row doesn't have to.
And do you play any other sports other than volleyball?
I also play soccer.
You play soccer?
Yes.
What position are you in soccer?
I'm a left wing or a striker.
Okay, cool. And that season starts in November,
November,
December, right?
so right after this season.
Right
I
after
switched to
volleyball, you go straight into that?
Yes.
Right after the trip to the volleyball tournament, the state tournament,
State
right?
tournament.
Oh, yeah.
I had a question on, I forgot.
You said you're a junior, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask. From the first matchup against Harlandale to this matchup, what do y'all need to improve on? What cost y'all the match the first time against Harlandale? What do you need to clean up on?
I think we make a lot of enforced errors at Harlandale game, but as we go on, we tend to make fewer and fewer every time. And I think we're learning that we're giving the other team a lot of points from our mistakes, and we're really seeing how much potential we have. Being more confident.
Have you played a volleyball match at Harlandale before in that gym?
Yes.
So you're prepared?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a nightmare.
it's McCollum.
I mean, McCullum.
Oh, yeah. They have a loud crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to be louder on the bench.
Yeah.
We got to be loud on the bench.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll
Thank
move over
you.
to the other girl that came with you. And if you'll tell us your name, position, year in school.
Okay. I'm Tony Holsaus. I am an outside hitter or really anywhere in front row. My grade?
Yeah.
I'm a junior at Medina Valley High School. And, yeah.
So, as a hitter, what are you, when the ball comes over the net on y'all's side, what are you looking for? Are you looking at the defense? Are you looking at where the ball's at? What are you looking at?
Definitely where the ball's at, because if it comes short, then that's our ball to go play. But if it's long, I'm focused on transitioning off and getting ready to approach for a hit.
And so there's three of y'all on the front line, right?
Yes.
And y'all kind of rotate, like you're either on the left, the center, or the right. You don't kind of move in and out of each other, right, as the play develops, or do you?
Yes, we actually do. So we have usually like a middle right side and a outside in, and whatever rotation we have to rotate, then we'll just configure ourselves to like go back to where we need to be playing individually.
And as far as defensively goes, are you up there to block?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about when you're on the defensive side, like what you're watching on the other side of the net.
I watch first where the pass goes and then to where the setter positions her hands and her feet, and I just kind of guess where the set goes.
When you say positions your hand, like are you looking for fingers to be turned back, forward? Like what do you mean by that?
For a back set, it's really easy to read from backwards, but front set, you kind of just tell like how fast they move their hands for the middle, and then if they reach them longer out for outside, shooting it out.
Okay.
My question is, and I don't know that much about volleyball, but and I'm going to explain it to the people who are just listening, but when the referee waves their hand like this and call it, what are they calling?
Usually,
I mean, are you moving before you're not supposed to, or how does that?
Yes. It's either we're out of rotation or we're not allowed to move until the first act on the ball is like a serve, and until they make contact with the ball, and then we can go to where we're supposed to be. And so they do it if we move too early or if we're offsides with the setter. It's just all about how we get pushed up and back. And
So y'all can't move until the ball is actually hit by the server?
yes, as soon as she makes contact.
See, I was always wondered that, because I know that y'all give signals when you're serving where to serve it to. So I guess that's to help the defense.
Yes, that is.
Wow.
And, do you play any other sports?
I do not,
You
just
don't?
volleyball.
Just volleyball. And both of y'all have one more season. And,
Yes, thank God.
Thank God.
Yes, thank God.
But I mean, so you don't have a playoff spot locked up yet, but you're close to that.
Yes.
But I would imagine, your district championship still within reach. You
Yes.
lost to the two teams, but you got a match against each of them left.
Exactly.
Is that still like a goal of y'all's? Like we want to at least tie for this? And
Of
compete for it?
course. Of course. That's what every day in practice, since we kind of won against Southwest and Floresville, we've been like moving forward, and we're like, okay, this is what we're planning for and practicing for. So every day we work on that. That's our goal.
And it's just one match at a time, right?
Yes, every point by time.
And the standings right now are Harlandale and McCullum are 7-1. Medina Valley's at 6-2.
Yes.
And Floresville's at 5-3, and then Southwest is at 3-5.
Yes.
But Medina Valley has done beaten Southwest twice, right?
Yes.
Yes, so,
So-
y'all are in your second round of district
Yes. Now.
So
we are.
y'all have McCullum Friday.
Yes.
When is the Harlandale matchup?
Should it right after?
Oh, they're back to back.
Yes, the Tuesday.
wow.
Yes.
So the McCullum game's there, and then the Tuesday game's at home, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Well, thank you all. Good luck
Thank
on
you.
Friday night and on Tuesday next week, because we won't
Thank you.
see anyone until Wednesday. So, but we'll have people there to do the games. I think.
Yeah,
Jeff's
both
planning to
of
have
them
the
will be on.
broadcast. Yeah, both will be on here. And good luck to y'all, and hopefully
Thank
we'll see y'all
you.
later on down the line.
Thank
y'all.
you.
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come back with Coach Crisp. You're listening to Sports for Supper, and we'll continue here in just a moment.
Marks in Castroville. From breakfast to delicious hometown lunch specials and more, Sammy's satisfies your taste buds with the unique flavor of Castroville. And from fresh baked breads to pies and pastries, South Texans have made Habeas Alsatian Bakery a must to visit since 1940. Sammy's Restaurant, online at sammysrestaurant.com. Habeas Alsatian Bakery, online at habeasbakery.com. Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home in Castroville, Texas, has been providing funeral services to families in the Medina Valley and surrounding areas for many generations. Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home is proud to support the broadcast by the Medina Valley Broadcast Network for the athletes and students participating in this event. Go Panthers! Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home, Castroville, Texas. You may view obituaries at Tondre, Tondre-Gwynn, Guinn.com, or visit the Facebook page of Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home to view funeral notices.
Are you ready for a vacation? Tanya with Travel by Design can help you with all your vacation destination needs. At no cost to you, she can plan all of the details tailored to your unique wants and needs. So all you have to do is enjoy your vacation. Tanya is a certified expert with Disney, Universal Orlando, and California, Sandals, and all cruise lines. Give Tanya a call at 830-931-4834 or visit her Facebook page, Tanya with Travel by Design, for all the latest specials and must-do vacations.
Peerless Equipment, your South Texas irrigation experts. Peerless Equipment specializes in sales and service of irrigation equipment to the agricultural and wildlife industries. This includes hose reels, big guns, pivot systems, underground pipelines, turbine well pumps, booster pumps, motors, valves, and an inventory of much more. Stop by one of their locations in Hondo and Pearsall, or give them a call at 210-434-7867. Peerless Equipment, bringing water to you. Double T Outfitters offers deer, dove, turkey, quail, and exotic hunts in Southwest Texas on over 20,000 low-fenced acres. They facilitate professional guide services, lodging, and fantastic meals while providing the best in Southwest hunting. Contact Double T Outfitters to find out details about their current package hunts. Contact owner Brett Ferguson at 210-413-1597 or online at doubleThunting.com.
Headed out to the game? Then make a stop at your local Valley Mart convenience store. With 12 area locations, Valley Mart is always right around the corner. Fuel yourself and your vehicle with quality branded gas and diesel, snacks, and fountain drinks. Always convenient, well lit with clean restrooms. Valley Mart, family owned and operated since 1984, and a proud supporter of Medina Valley athletics and area youth sports for over 30 years.
Welcome back here to Sports for Supper, as we just had the volleyball team on, and now we're going to head in with Coach Chris. Coach, thanks for being back with us.
Always a pleasure.
Coach, you're coming off of a bye week, actually. I know you said before we started here it feels like forever since you played a game, but the last game was a win against Uvalde.
Yeah.
You got that first win going into district. Tell us a little bit about that win, your off week, and what you're looking for this week.
Yeah, so in the non-district schedule with a win is definitely a positive. After the 4 weeks prior, we seemed to get some offense rolling. Defense stood tall. It was a good game for us, and so it felt good going into that bye week with a little bit of positive energy. And so, and we took that opportunity to go back to basics and did a lot of fundamentals and focused on little things and kind of added a couple wrinkles of stuff that we've been doing that we can hopefully capitalize on this week. And so there are some things that look a little bit different. We take the field Friday, and hopefully that translates into a competitive game. Bernie's a good team. So.
Well, they've been. I'm sure they're going to be favored again, but they've been heavily favored before the last 3 or 4 years, and that really hasn't mattered according to what the game script was, because Medina Valley's came to play them the last 4 years.
And they're coming off a good shellacking, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Their last game, I think they got beat 56-7 or something like
it was,
that by a good team.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Who was it?
El Campo.
The Rice Birds.
The Rice Birds.
Yeah.
What is a rice bird?
I'm not sure. It's a bird that eats rice, I guess.
I'm starting to think that too. But did the bye week come at the right time, Coach?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was good for us. It gave us that opportunity to identify some things that we could do to change things up. I mean, at this point, there's no, there's nothing we won't try. Whatever it takes. That's kind of the motto right now. And so, And like you said, Bernie's a team that we always play up against, and we're counting on that. The kids coming out fired up, and we're 0-0 right now. The record we had before now doesn't really matter. This is the time to kind of pick it up, and so it was exactly the right time. I guess that's all I can say about that.
So we know that Bernie lost their quarterback from last year that they had. But what did they have that replaced him this year?
Oh no, it's
is he still there?
Yeah, he's still there. He was a junior.
He was committed somewhere.
No, that was Bernie.
Oh yeah.
Not
Bernie
champion.
High.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, no, he's back. He's a senior this year. I think he was out a couple of games from what we could tell on film, and good chance he'll be back. I mean, I'm sure the bye week was good for them too. I know they were missing some guys against El Campo and things like that, and so. Everybody likes having that bye week before you get into district, but he's a big old tall kid, decent runner, but he can really sling the ball. And they got some guys offensively they can get behind you. And I don't know that their run game what we've seen on film hasn't been as good as it has in the past, but they do a lot of RPOs and they throw the ball well enough that they're dangerous.
Size-wise on the lines are
they're always big.
Are they even? I mean, are they over? Are they size bigger than Medina Valley?
Well, typically that's everybody in our district. So that goes, but they do have some good size offensive linemen, and I think we'll be able to hold our own. I know both Coach Mo's. They're going to have a game plan for them, and see what transpires on Friday. But
defensively, what do they look like this year?
They're athletic. I mean, they've got. It seems like they got athletes all over the field. The D-lines, they got a nose guard that's just a big old boy and comes off the ball. Both their tackles, more athlete than just big burly kids, but they can move. Both inside linebackers, I think, they're probably the two best players on their defense. And, they got one that's more of a downhill kind of plugger guy and one guy that's a side-to-side. And they move well. I mean, you're not going to have this big, long gains. You're going to get caught up pretty quick, and so secondary-wise, same thing.
Well, it's really not like Medina Valley hadn't seen that before, because the two big defensive tackles that John Jay had, I don't know if I've seen two bigger human beings that were still in school in my life. They were big, and in the second half, Medina Valley's offense moved them up and down the field.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are the kind of guys that you don't want to run away from. You want to just run right at them.
Right, yeah, and that's probably going to factor into our game plan there is, we're not going to beat them on the edge very often, and so we got to mix it up on them and try to slow them down with different backfield action and that type of thing.
Kind of grind it. The longer they stay on the field, the more tired they're going to get.
Sure.
Too.
Yeah. So, no, that's kind of been what's worked for us. I think a couple of years ago that was sort of our MO. Is we would line up and kind of run right at you, and then when you get lulled into that little false sense of security, then we throw one over the top and capitalize on that. So, but definitely, controlling the clock is going to be. I told the kids on Monday, they watched the Oklahoma, who was a Kansas State game.
Yes.
We're going to have a little bit of that mentality going into this, just because to help our defense out, because their offense is pretty potent, and also to help us. I think those types of games you can get some momentum going, and you start to see get a little rhythm on in your step, and the penalties and those types of things that have plagued us up to this point should be less of an issue, I would think, this week. So,
Go ahead.
win the toss, offense or defense first?
I got to think about that one. I'm typically a defer type of guy.
Kind of guy, right?
I am.
But I mean,
it might be different. It could be different Friday. Just based on kind of what our plan is. So, we'll see.
And most people that when they defer, usually they take the ball because they don't want to give the other team the ball 2 times in a row to start the first half and second half. But are we healthy, Coach? Are we got everybody
Yeah, pretty
ready?
much. Yeah.
And last question I have for you is that win against Uvalde, have you seen a little more pep in the team's step like that? How much did that really help their psyche to get that win?
Yeah, well, Saturday morning was a lot brighter than the previous ones, and so the sun always rises, but it's a little easier to kind of come to work when you're getting paid. That's kind of our payday, and so we're looking to get another one on Friday, and
awesome.
Hopefully we can. I think we've been talking quite a bit with the kids, and a good performance is going to be a win for us, regardless. We just need to look like we got things put together, and I think if we do that and we execute the game plan the way it's written, it's going to be a heck of a game. So.
Well, the support was there at homecoming. I'm sure after a win, when Bernie coming to town, the Panther fans are going to rally around as they always do.
Yeah.
The crowd will be there, and hopefully they'll have a heck of a lot to cheer about.
Exactly. Hopefully more show up next week.
I do too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us again, and good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
Hope we'll see you again down the line.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back with some of the players. You're listening to Sports for Supper, and we'll continue here in just a moment.
Headed out to the game? Then make a stop at your local Valley Mart convenience store. With 12 area locations, Valley Mart is always right around the corner. Fuel yourself and your vehicle with quality branded gas and diesel, snacks, and fountain drinks. Always convenient, well lit with clean restrooms. Valley Mart, family owned and operated since 1984, and a proud supporter of Medina Valley athletics and area youth sports for over 30 years.
Double T Outfitters offers deer, dove, turkey, quail, and exotic hunts in Southwest Texas on over 20,000 low-fenced acres. They facilitate professional guide services, lodging, and fantastic meals while providing the best in Southwest hunting. Contact Double T Outfitters to find out details about their current package hunts. Contact owner Brett Ferguson at 210-413-1597 or online at doubleThunting.com. Peerless Equipment, your South Texas irrigation experts. Peerless Equipment specializes in sales and service of irrigation equipment to the agricultural and wildlife industries. This includes hose reels, big guns, pivot systems, underground pipelines, turbine well pumps, booster pumps, motors, valves, and an inventory of much more. Stop by one of their locations in Hondo and Pearsall or give them a call at 210-434-7867. Peerless Equipment, bringing water to you.
Welcome back to Sports for Supper. We just had Coach Crisp on, and now we're joined by 3 of the football players, and y'all are all sophomores, if I understand right?
Yes, sir.
And if you'll tell us your name, number, and your position.
Yes, sir. My name is Daniel Areza. I'm number 22, and I play slot receiver.
And, being a sophomore on the varsity team, you actually have a big role in the team. We've seen you score some touchdowns, catch some passes, run with the ball this year. Tell us a little bit about the growth from the beginning of the season to where you're at now.
Yes, sir. It's a big jump from freshman ball to varsity, and
just and so you play kind of in the slot a little more, right? You know, you line up for some pass plays. You line up in the backfield a little bit, but not often. What's kind of more your role? Are you more of a blocker? Are you more let me get the ball and make some plays with my legs?
I'm more of a blocker. Yes, sir.
And who are you usually blocking? A cornerback, an outside linebacker?
Blocking the safety.
The safety?
Yes, sir.
And so when you got a play coming around you, what are you looking for? Are you looking for him, or are you looking for how many guys are covered on the outside?
I'm looking for the first threat and blocking on outside.
First threat, that means to try to get the runner to bounce outside or inside, or what are you? You're keying on basically the cornerback or the safety to go down there and put a block on.
Yes, sir. Just to cut off us.
How big are the defensive backs for Bernie?
They're big. They're like 6'1". Yes, sir.
Well, you just need to do like Rocky did and just chop the big Russian down.
So when you get a little involved in the passing game, you're kind of more of an outlet, swing passes, kind of like that. Do you like making plays with your legs, get the ball and try to make somebody miss?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do.
So would you rather do that, or would you rather knock the crud out of somebody on a block?
I'd rather make plays with my legs.
What is your favorite play on offense?
My favorite play has to be jet
sweep.
Jet sweep, yes, sir.
Hand off to you.
Yes, sir.
So you go in motion a lot, right? Tell us a little bit about that. Like, when you do that, is the play designed to come to you sometimes? Is it not? And, is the quarterback reading that as you come in motion?
Most of the time it's a read. Other times it's to me. And most of the time it's just to a distraction, just to, like, pull the safety and stuff.
Just move the defense around a little bit.
Get them out of position.
Do you play any other sports?
I play basketball and track.
Basketball and track. And what do you run in track?
I run the relays, all the relays.
And basketball, are you guard?
Point guard.
Point guard. And anything else, Maury?
Do you have? Does it look like you'll be maybe part of the varsity on basketball or JV or? Because the varsity lost a couple of players last year to graduation, I believe.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm not that, like, big in basketball, but I think I just be on JV. Yes, sir.
Just like to play.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us,
Thank you.
We'll move on down the line. And if you'll tell us your name, number, position.
My name is Jonathan Burns. I'm number 67, and I'm a left guard.
Left guard. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to see from Champion on Friday night.
They're big dudes. They like to rush up the field. I know the left defensive end. He's pretty fast off the ball. So
what does that pose for you? What do you got to be good at?
I need to keep my eyes up when I'm playing, watching where they're going, and I need to be able to hold my gap and be able to move people around.
How key is your first step off the line of scrimmage?
It
everything.
determines the ball game.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that. They just think, guys on the line are just going to block, but they don't realize how key it is to get off the line quicker than the other guy or that first step, So having a lineman here to explain that helps things. Being the guard. So who's next to you?
I have CJ, who's the center, and Den, who is my left tackle.
And would you rather pass block or you like to run block?
I like to run block. I'm a little bit better at that. So,
looking at some pictures that your dad sent with a pancake block on there, and pretty impressive. You gonna predict any of those this week?
Every time I get in, I want to pancake someone. It's always the goal.
Good feeling.
Yes, sir.
Good feeling to get the defensive tackle, or is it better when you get to the second level and put a linebacker on his back?
Oh, it's even better when you get to a linebacker.
So as a guard, do you pull ever?
I have 2 pull plays, and those are a lot of fun.
Are they? Because you can get a full head of steam at somebody.
Yes, sir.
So you throw discus too, is that right?
I do discus and powerlifting.
And you led her last year in powerlifting and was second or
second.
First place discus throw for the JV track meet?
Yes, sir.
Good.
So
how big a critic is your dad following the position that he played in?
He definitely tells me when I do something wrong, but he's pretty supportive of it. So.
But he also tells you when you do something right also.
Yeah.
I remember him playing and called those games too.
That was before me.
Yeah.
But all right, well, good luck this week, and
what
hopefully
other sports do you play?
We asked him that.
I know, but that's 2. But does he play anything else? do anything else at track? Just disc?
Just discus.
You don't shot put or anything like that? Have you
Every
dabbled
once
in
in a
it
while.
before?
Yeah.
Seems like that goes hand in hand. If you throw one, you're usually pretty good at the other.
Yeah. Well, good luck this week, and we'll see you back down the line here. And we got one more. You'll tell us your name, position, number.
My name is Anthony Goodell. My number is 28, and I'm a running back.
And we've seen you get the ball a lot this year.
Yes,
and,
sir.
Being a sophomore, in a skill position like that where you're playing a pretty prominent role, how has that made you kind of mature? Coming from the freshman team up to varsity, or were you on JV last year?
No, I was on freshman.
You were on freshman team?
Yes, sir. I'd say kind of a lot. The game's a lot faster, definitely. And you're playing against bigger people, and more aggressive.
Yeah.
A lot smarter and more talented,
Was
obviously.
there a little bit of a learning curve when you got from the first game into the second and third? Now all of a sudden the play slowed down a little more for you?
Yes, sir. The first game I didn't get as many touches as I am now. So it's just kind of like when I get in there just trying to do what I can. Now it's kind of like just trying to stick to the game plan and do all that. So yes, sir.
We know you run the ball, but you stay in the block some too.
Yes,
tell
sir.
us a little bit about that. You like to block?
Not preferably, but if I have to, of course I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We've seen you run hard. You run hard. You keep your
Thank you.
pads ahead of you. Keep your legs moving. Is that one of the things that you think about? Is like yards after contact, things like that?
Most definitely. I don't like to go down just by one person.
Yeah.
So trying to get whatever I can.
And we see a quarterback, whether it's Moreno or Rash in there, they kind of get an option to hand it off or keep it. Is there? How do you know when to shut your hands down? Like, how do you know when he's actually giving it to you or when he's going to pull it out? Is that difficult?
I definitely make it difficult for them. I don't like to, I don't want to make any mistakes with them trying to pull it and they fumble and stuff like that. So just try to go the whole way.
You got some pretty big shoes to fill with your sister being a 4-year letterman on the varsity softball. You hear that all the time?
Yes, sir, I do. Sometimes, I guess.
So does she compliment you though also?
She's a big
She's
supporter.
supportive?
She's definitely supportive.
I know your mom and dad are.
Yes,
Because
sir.
they don't miss
No, they don't
any
miss
events
anything.
at all.
None of them. If you go to the games, you'll definitely be hearing her.
So what is your favorite offensive play? What would you – the game's on the line. You want to score the touchdown. What would the play what would you call for yourself?
I'd say just I don't know. I like just when everybody gets hard, just trying to go and block somebody. So I'd say probably like power. Like where they pull around and I'm just falling up in the hole. I just like to.
Are you ever out there? Could you lead block for Chavez and he scores the winning touchdown coming up this weekend? This week?
You might see it. You might not. I don't know. I don't know exactly.
So do you get thrown to ever? You ever get in the passing game?
Yes, sir. Actually, I had a touchdown last week.
That's right. Yeah,
passing
that's
touchdown.
right. You did.
Receiving.
So you like getting thrown to, or would you rather carry the ball?
Sort of. It's definitely difficult because you don't know if they're coming down hard. So you're always having to prep yourself just in case. But, I like if I do get it, open space. So yards is yards.
Tell us a little bit about the decision making. So, the play's supposed to go here, but that's shut down. Like, what are you going to bounce it out? Are you looking for an extra hole, or?
Honestly, it's just whatever they're giving to me. You're
going to take whatever they give you and try to find some yards.
Yes, sir.
Do you do any other sports?
I play basketball.
Play basketball?
Yes,
what
sir.
position do you play?
Kind of a little bit of everywhere. Like throughout middle school, I was like kind of a point guard because I can dribble, and then like towards freshman year last year, they put me down low because I'm a little bit thicker and I'm taller. So I don't really know what the plan is this year, but
cool.
I know I said Chavez, but meant Mr. Reza blocking for you.
Yes,
Hope
sir.
Get that straight. But
yes, sir, I do.
Who blocks for who more? You block for him, or does he block for you? more?
I'd say kind of him because we run the ball. So technically he's always blocking on that. So
Good.
Well, guys,
Yes, sir.
good luck this week.
Thank
First
you.
district game. Hopefully next week we're talking about a 1-0 district record. But good luck this week, and we'll see you all down the line.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're going to take a break, and then we are going to come back with a special guest. You're listening to Sports for Supper, and we'll continue here in just a moment.
Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home in Castroville, Texas, has been providing funeral services to families in the Medina Valley and surrounding areas for many generations. Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home is proud to support the broadcast by the Medina Valley Broadcast Network for the athletes and students participating in this event. Go Panthers! Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home, Castroville, Texas. You may view obituaries at Tondre, Tondre-Gwynn, Guinn.com, or visit the Facebook page of Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home to view Sammy's Restaurant and Havy's Alsatian Bakery, two legendary landmarks in Castroville. From breakfast to delicious hometown lunch specials and more, Sammy's satisfies your taste buds with the unique flavor of Castroville. And from fresh baked breads to pies and pastries, South Texans have made Havy's Alsatian Bakery a must-to-visit since 1940. Sammy's Restaurant, online at sammysrestaurant.com. Havy's Alsatian Bakery, online at havysbakery.com.
Headed out to the game? Then make a stop at your local Valley Mart convenience store. With 12 area locations, Valley Mart is always right around the corner. Fuel yourself and your vehicle with quality branded gas and diesel, snacks, and fountain drinks. Always convenient, well lit with clean restrooms. Valley Mart, family owned and operated since 1984, and a proud supporter of Medina Valley athletics and area youth sports for over 30 years.
Double T Outfitters offers deer, dove, turkey, quail, and exotic hunts in Southwest Texas on over 20,000 low-fenced acres. They facilitate professional guide services, lodging, and fantastic meals while providing the best in Southwest hunting. Contact Double T Outfitters to find out details about their current package hunts. Contact owner Brett Ferguson at 210-413-1597 or online at doubleThunting.com. Peerless Equipment, your South Texas irrigation experts. Peerless Equipment specializes in sales and service of irrigation equipment to the agricultural and wildlife industries. This includes hose reels, big guns, pivot systems, underground pipelines, turbine well pumps, booster pumps, motors, valves, and an inventory of much more. Stop by one of their locations in Hondo and Pearsall or give them a call at 210-434-7867. Peerless Equipment, bringing water to you.
Welcome back to Sports for Supper. As we just wrapped up, we had the volleyball team on, then we had the football team as well. They've got big games coming up this week, but we're joined now by Don Holding. And Don, welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
And tell us a little bit about, so you're doing some wrestling over at Shot and Ball, correct?
That is correct, yeah. We've been there, I think, 3 times now? Three times, and so this is our 4th visit. I think those remember last time I was there, I was jumped from behind, got hit with a chair, got DDT'd on a chair, and so, yeah, it ended in a pretty wild situation.
Well, I think the last few times you've left there, you've been ambushed from behind. Now, talk a little bit, Hoss, about the opponent you're going to face Saturday night.
Obviously, my mind was on the man who hit me with the chair, and unfortunately, contractually, they're not letting me wrestle. I mean, he is there, and I am there, so I don't know what's going to happen. But as a contract, I'm wrestling a young man, about 23 years old. He's about 6'2", and he weighs about 330 pounds, and he goes by the name of Caleb. And I actually had a match with him at the Dog Pound show at the historic Woodlawn Gym here a few weeks ago. And I left the ring with some bruised ribs. He is a powerhouse. He's a brawler. And that's the way I see our match going, is we're pretty much going to go in there. He knows me now, and I know him, and we're just going to go toes and see what happens.
Well, the last time I saw you leave the ring after you got jumped, you even left with the next 2 days after that. I think I saw you with some butterfly bandages, butterfly stitches. So is that the first time you've actually had blood?
Yeah, when he grabbed me and my head went down on that chair and I felt it split, and I knew I was in trouble, but I was pretty much unconscious there for a little bit. It literally knocked me out until I got my bearings back, after a while. So, yeah, we had to. It wasn't too extremely bad. I think the headache I had all week probably hurt worse than the little bust open on the head.
How many matches are going to be there this week?
Right now we got 7 matches. The main event is going to be incredible. As you know, the folks that were there last time, they had the champion Alex Arsenal, he's been the Galactic champion now for almost 2 years, and he was defeated by Khan. Khan is a monster, and you saw him.
Oh,
I mean, he works under the Ring of Honor, which is a national wrestling company, and he's signed with Galactic. He is going to be defending that belt against, and he's a crowd favorite, and he's a good friend of mine, is Spartan.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, so Spartan is going to get his shot at it. Alex Arsenal will be there, and he's wrestling a newcomer named Xavier Daniels. And I'm going to tell you, you'll never see a guy with bigger arms and a neck than Xavier Daniels. His arms has got to be 30 inches. He is a beast, and Alex's hands is going to be full. We've got a triple threat woman match. Rodney Mack, the gentleman that attacked me that I thought was my friend, he is signed to do a match with a gentleman by the name of Manimal. And Manimal actually came in Castroville back in 2009 when I was running SCW, when I brought the Honky Tonk Man in. So he actually has a history. It's been 20 or 10, 11 years since he's been here, and he's about a 6'4" guy, and he wears a cave outfit, and he carries a big old bone, and if this might get crazy, so I don't know. I'm going to try to, contractually, I'm not allowed to do anything about it, but it's going to be hard to hold me back on that too. So we're going to see what's going to happen. So we've got Soda Pop that's coming in. He's an up-and-coming star. It's just a loaded card. 7 matches where they're talking about maybe doing a pre-match and a battle royal with a Galactic Pro contract on the line. So, hey, man, with Galactic, you just don't know who's going to walk out of that curtain at any time.
I know the last time Khan was there, he had just came back from overseas. Wasn't he wrestling
in Japan?
In Japan,
mm-hmm. Yeah, and him and his group, they're currently the 6-man tags with Ring of Honor champion as well. So yeah, he is. I've actually trained with Khan a few times, and right now in the state, I don't know if there's anybody better than him right now, and he's just on fire, and he's just winning everywhere. So I know Alex wants his belt back. Heck, maybe one day I want a shot at it. I'm trying to work my way up. I've been traveling, wrestling all over. I've been taking a lot of extra matches in San Antonio and in Austin, trying to get better and improve. Like I say, I'm the only 60-year-old rookie going right now, so, but we're having a lot of fun with it. The physicality is just tremendous, boy. Your body's always beat up. Like I say, I couldn't take a deep breath of air for 2 days after my last match with Caleb. I've got me an actual vest that I'm going to wear just for protection of my ribs, and, it's just like when you see football players or anybody like that, wrestling's the same way. You're injured, you got to go, and that's, come Saturday night, I'll be ready to go.
So you say you're a rookie, but you had your own company years back. Did you wrestle when you had?
I did not wrestle back then. I strictly ran the company. I was in no shape to wrestle, and I had a desire back then to wrestle. I was really worried about Jake and him.
The Jakester?
The Jakester, yep, and him wrestling. So it was I really just wanted to run the business. I felt like back then the independent professional wrestling scene was really kind of getting buried, and there was no professionalism to it, and so that was my sole purpose of really starting that, is bringing a professionalism to independent professional wrestling. That way other companies had to step up and invest in their product and really be a professional company, and I think we set the trend on that. Then after that, my health just got so bad. You know, like I say, 4 years ago, I was 350 pounds and couldn't run 8 feet. So, and this has always been me being in the ring has been a childhood dream. You know, like I say, I don't run companies. I'm focusing on me and wrestling. I'll help promote. I do whatever I've got to do to help the company be successful. But, you know, I train at the Dog Pound Championship Wrestling School in San Antonio 2 to 3 nights a week. I've got my own cardio program that I do. And so man, it's but no wrestling back in, but it's all focused wrestling now. And you know, my goals are, and what's been so great about it is, you know, I think you were there the first, and yep. I think the community is growing with me. You know, I think they're seeing me progress as each match. I'm doing more. I'm more competitive. Yep. I said I'm always getting jumped from behind or something's happening, but I'm hoping the community. I'm growing with the community is watching my growth as a professional wrestler, and I think they're taking this journey with me, and it's really meant a lot doing it here in my hometown.
Yeah, the crowd's definitely behind you. And I was talking to Jakester after your match, and I was wondering just how hard is it when you get jumped for him being a wrestler himself, you know, not wanting to go in there and help you out, but he kind of, you know, let you take care of yourself. But I had to be hard on him just sitting there and watching that because 2-on-1's never a fair fight.
No, and you know, and it's funny you talk about him, you know, and he's got a very successful career. He's going right now, and in fact, they're having their second child here in the next week or so. But he's talking about, man, you know, I might be able to get back. You know, he's getting the bug too. You know, Castroville has produced some good wrestlers. You know, we've got Corey, you know, out in Florida, you know, and he's about on top of the mountain, you know. He made it.
I have one of his shirts, the Forgotten Sons, still when he was still a 3-man.
That was that gimmick.
Wrestling.
That was I can't believe that WWE did not run with that. That was the Forgotten Sons and who was doing that.
Who was part of it?
It was incredible, man. That was money, and I talk to Corey occasionally, and you know he's a phenomenal wrestler. I hope he comes to Castroville too. I would love to share it with him.
I even have a signed autographed wrestling card of his.
Oh
yep.
Wow, yeah. He's I still think the biggest things are in front for him. He's a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah.
And it's really Castroville is producing some, you know, and I don't know, you know, I originally had my goals when I decided to step into the ring, but as I'm going and expanding, you know, the end of this month I make my debut in Fort Worth in front of a big crowd, and I'm really excited. I'm wrestling an old veteran up there that's mean, and so you know I'm wrestling in the 30th in San Antonio, and then we'll be back here in November for the big finale show. You know, let the winter come through and stuff like that, and so. You know, in November back at Schottenball. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot on the horizon. And the main thing is I just got to take care of myself and try to stay healthy through this and enjoy this ride and you know, give the fans a good, entertaining match. And as long as I can do that, you know, I don't know how long, you know, I get asked a lot, you know, how long can you go? You know, you're 60 years old. How, you know, and I don't have that answer right now. In my mind, I'm thinking if anything after 62 is a bonus. And then we'll just see, you know. As long as I can go in there and compete and hold my own, I would
keep going.
Keep going, man. That's it. Until I know it's done. For sure.
I got a question. I want to know when you preparing for a match like what you have this week against someone that big, and you know you've gone up against him once before. You said, do you look at like tapes of your previous match? Like, how do you kind of prepare for something like that?
The match that we had when I had with Caleb, it was actually on my Facebook page. It got recorded, and it was on there, and it's had over 300 or 400 views. I've studied it probably a dozen times of those views, and look at, you know, he's got a loudmouth manager that travels with him, and boy, he drives me crazy, and he got me jumped from behind, so he'll be in Castroville.
You ever just want to go after that guy, the manager?
Well, and I made the mistake, and I got jumped from behind, so, you know. But, yeah, I studied it. I saw, you know, how he contained me in a corner. His splashes, you know, I mean, he's so fast. I mean, he whipped me into a corner, And by the time I hit, and when you get whipped in those turnbuckles, I mean, you'll see stars.
They got a pad on them, but they're still metal underneath.
They're still metal, and it knocks the breath out of you. And then my eyes open up, and he's flying in the air on me, and and he does it again. So so I'll be a little bit, but on the same token is I did get the win that night, and I'm going to have to do something else, obviously, because he's watching tape too. Right. I would put Caleb like this. If you ever watch that, I think it was like Rocky III when he went against Clubber Lang. Yeah. And you remember when he was in the basement and he just didn't. This is what Caleb is. I mean, he works in the basement. And he don't like people and he's mean, and that's who Caleb is. I mean, he is Clubber Lang of Rocky III.
Got it.
You were kind of giving us the Iron Claw last time. Are you working on?
Actually, I have. That's how I beat him in San Antonio. And in that show, there was 400 people in that auditorium, and I hit him with it, and I thought he was going down. He was coming back up, and I had to. I didn't say I cheated, but I caught him off guard, and to get him on the mat. And then once I had him on the mat, he was mine. If I get him on the mat with the claw, like I say, it's something I work with. I do, 500 ball squeezes every day. I do strictly just hand exercises. And I do the claw is because my idol of professional wrestling is David Von Erich. He is, to me, he was the greatest of all of the Von Erichs, wrestling in general, anybody. I mean, he was it to me. I study his stuff. And the way that he applies the claw, how he prepared himself,
that was
to
Fritz,
the claw.
right?
Well, Fritz was the dad.
But David was the barefooted one, wasn't he?
No, that was Kevin.
Kevin,
yeah.
Okay.
David Kevin was the oldest, and Kevin's the only surviving brother. Then you have David was the one. He passed away in Japan, but phenomenal. He was just so great, and so I study a lot of the wrestling and the tapes I study is the old school stuff. I'll go to World Class or Mid-South, and I study the guys. That's what I like, because it was brawling. The guys were bigger than life, and it was real professional wrestling. I mean, those guys were tremendous. You look at Terry Gordy, the Freebirds, Ted DiBiase back in the day, and,
$1 Million Man.
Oh, yeah. So, it goes on, the Von Erichs, the list goes on of the Gilberts, and even an early Stone Cold when he was blonde hair. I saw him, back in the Sportatorium early when he had long blonde hair. So it's I study that era of wrestling more than I study today's era of wrestling. I think it was just more precise. It's more physical, and I say this as a 60-year-old guy with these young guys. Look, they're more athletic than I am, and they're probably better wrestlers. But if I can get physical, if I can get the match physical, my odds improve because I've got over 2,000 barroom fights was my training growing up, and that's my element. So, if I can get them into that old brawl, my chances improve.
You need to get them close to you.
I just got to get a hold of them.
There you go.
That's it.
Yep. Well, good luck on Saturday night.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
One question.
Yes, sir.
What if you could remember one match that got you involved in wrestling? What do you have? One certain one?
I think probably, I don't know if it was a match, but I'm going to probably say really what hooked me, and I was hooked before, but the Von Erich Freebird feud. I think that feud when Terry Gordy slammed the cage on Kerry Von Erich when he was in the ring with Ric Flair back then it was the NWA title.
Yep.
And that whole persona, and then the matches they had, they had so many just grueling matches, and that era right there, and especially like I say, the matches that David had, and then David, we lost David in the middle of the feud, and and there was a lot of tragedy later on in that feud. But if you look when that feud was hot, and look at even a Buddy Roberts and a Kevin, the list can go on to how they match those up. But I think that feud right there probably really sold me to the end of wrestling, and I was actually, and I'll finish up on this. I know we're running out of time, but so when I started, in 1988, I was actually going to go to a school in Dallas, and I went And I met a gentleman, Chris Adams. It was really one of the first schools that was advertised. And so I was a young guy then, and in my 20s. Just had Boone, and Boone, just had him.
Classmate.
Yeah. So Boone, so he was just a baby. I didn't have any money. We couldn't even afford a $150 mortgage, and I was sold on wrestling. Man, this was it. And then they told me the price of the school and no payments, and I couldn't do it, So, man, that was a long drive home from Dallas to my little town, my little rent house I had in Maypearl, Texas. But, involved, and I had to get away from it because it hurt me, because I really wanted to be a wrestler. So I had to bury it. Open in SCW, when I ran that, it helped some, but it just didn't quench the fire. And so now it put me here where now I'm chasing this dream. And like I say, my goals are continuing to grow. And I don't know how far I can take it now. I'm going to take it as far as I can go, wherever there's use and however I can help professional wrestling grow and be entertaining for fans and kids and things like that, I'm going to keep on rocking just as hard as I can.
Good.
That's awesome. Yeah, guys, make sure y'all go out to Shatton Ball on Saturday night. What time does it start?
The gates open at 6. The bell rings at 7:30. Anybody, I'm going to be at the football game Friday. I'll probably have a few tickets in my pocket. I'll be walking around. Hey, come up, shake my hand, see if I got any of these tickets left. I'll pass them to you. And let's fill up Shatton Bowl. Yep. That's a local business. They appreciate the business. It's a great kids atmosphere, and I think more and more people are just whatever event they have, they like going to the Shatton Bowl.
Yep.
Because it's
the atmosphere is wonderful there.
It's great.
When you take your kids there, that's the thing.
And they're safe.
Yeah.
The kids can play. They're watching. And it's funny is when all those kids are around that ring. Man, they're just.
It's fun to watch.
It's
they get into it.
So so man, bring the kids, bring the family. I'll be at the game Friday night, and say hi to me, shake hands. I'll probably come up in the booth and say hi. And if y'all want some tickets, I scored some tickets from the owners today that I'm going to hand out. And I wanted to make sure we hand them out Friday night at the football game.
Good.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Don, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate
Saturday
it.
Night.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you on down the road.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
We're going to take a break, and then Maury and I are going to come back and kind of recap everything that we went over today, set up the broadcast schedule for you for the week, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Sammy's Restaurant and Habeas Alsatian Bakery, 2 legendary landmarks in Castroville. From breakfast to delicious hometown lunch specials and more, Sammy's satisfies your taste buds with the unique flavor of Castroville. And from fresh baked breads to pies and pastries, South Texans have made Habeas Alsatian Bakery a must-to-visit since 1940. Sammy's Restaurant, online at sammysrestaurant.com. Habeas Alsatian Bakery, online at habeasbakery.com. Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home in Castroville, Texas, has been providing funeral services to families in the Medina Valley and surrounding areas for many generations. Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home is proud to support the broadcast by the Medina Valley Broadcast Network for the athletes and students participating in this event. Go Panthers! Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home, Castroville, Texas. You may view obituaries at Tondre, Tondre-Gwynn, Guinn.com, or visit the Facebook page of Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home to view.
Are you ready for a vacation? Tanya with Travel by Design can help you with all your vacation destination needs. At no cost to you, she can plan all of the details tailored to your unique wants and needs. So all you have to do is enjoy your vacation. Tanya is a certified expert with Disney, Universal Orlando, and California, Sandals, and all cruise lines. Give Tanya a call at 830-931-4834 or visit her Facebook page, Tanya with Travel by Design, for all the latest specials and must-do vacations.
Peerless Equipment, your South Texas irrigation experts. Peerless Equipment specializes in sales and service of irrigation equipment to the agricultural and wildlife industries. This includes hose reels, big guns, pivot systems, underground pipelines, turbine well pumps, booster pumps, motors, valves, and an inventory of much more. Stop by one of their locations in Hondo and Pearsall, or give them a call at 210-434-7867. Peerless Equipment, bringing water to you.
All right, welcome back to Sports for Supper. Had a pretty interesting show tonight. We had Coach Franklin, the freshman volleyball coach, on tonight, talking a little bit about the
very
freshman
good
team.
speaker.
Yep, and talking about the freshman team and what's coming up for Medina Valley and how they're trying to develop those players to come up to the varsity level. Talked to a couple of the girls on the team who very optimistic about their match with McCollum and Harlandale. You know, they're playing a lot better than they were at the very beginning of the year. I think they've cut out some of those mistakes that they were making early on. We'll see if that transpires to the top two teams in the district coming up on Friday
and, you know,
and Tuesday.
To get back to the volleyball, over the last 4 matches, Jared, the volleyball team has put themselves in great position again after losing 2 out of the first 3 district matches. They've gotten themselves right back in the thick of things, just 1 game behind McCullum and 1 game behind Harlandale, and they have those back-to-back. Friday, which we will be on, broadcast usually starts about 6 o'clock, and then the same thing goes for next Tuesday here, so let's try to pack the gym next Tuesday for the Panthers. And it's good to see, you know, Coach Franklin looks like she could still be a freshman, you know, and you like that enthusiasm. I mean, she brought it here. The girls were once again great. The boys, Jared, you brought the sophomores along, and I can remember
3 of them
3 years ago sitting here, Triple B, Joe Tarvin, Tomaselli, a couple of the other ones were all here at the same time. The sophomores from that, now they're seniors, and you can see the leadership that they brought. If these 3 young men that were here today transpire into those, the Panthers program is in good shape and in good hands.
Yeah, and, you know, we talked about, you know, we know the struggles of the team to start the year, but they got that win against Uvalde. We talked about how much of a must-win that really was to get a win going into your bye week before district started. You didn't want to go into district 0-5. A couple of those games Medina Valley should have won. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way, but they got that big win against Uvalde on homecoming. You had your bye week that even Coach Chris said, I think it came at the right time. You know, we're healthy. And I just see, you know, the team should be ready to play Bernie Champion on Friday night.
Well, you followed up your worst performance of the year against Southwest by your best performance and getting on the winning track against Uvalde. So you righted the ship. You improved 100% because you hadn't won a game. Now you're on a little bit of a winning streak, a 1-game winning streak, but it's like Coach Chris said, there's no records now. Everybody is 0-0. You got 5 games to go in district play. You know, unfortunately for the Panthers, you faced probably the top 2 teams right off the bat in Bernie Champion and Alamo Heights. But if you could somehow get a win out of one of those 2, I think you'd be happy. 2-0, Jared, would be a big plus, and you'd put yourself right back in all kinds of conversations.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And even 1-1 coming out of these 2 games, you know, you're right there then, because you've got Kerrville, well, you've got Lockhart, Kerrville, and then Floresville is going to round out the season. And I think the Lockhart game is a very winnable game. That's in Floresville. Kerrville, we don't really know what they have this year.
They haven't won a game, but they've played tough competition like the Panthers have the first weeks. I mean, the first 5 games. We talked about going into that Uvalde game, the records of the teams that the Panthers have played is phenomenal. I think the four opponents have only had 4 losses or 5 losses between all of them.
Yeah, well, Southwest and Legacy played each other, so that's one of their losses right there. We know Veterans Memorial's good. They've lost only 1 game all year.
And that was to Taft.
A high-scoring game to Taft.
Which is a 6A, and was Veterans Memorial, they're
6A.
Are they 6A
too,
also?
I believe. I don't know if they're
and
5
John
or 6A.
Jay, another team that Panthers, another 6A school.
Yeah. And, you know, Medina Valley competed in all those games except the Southwest game. Veterans Memorial, the Panthers, you know, got up quick, but, you know, they're a good football team.
Right.
They're the best team Medina Valley's faced all year. So you kind of throw that out as an outlier, but the rest of the games, John Jay and Southwest Legacy were very winnable games. Medina Valley competed in those, so you can't say that their 0-4 record, really reflects what they've done all year, because they could have easily, they could be 3-2 right now.
Absolutely.
So,
and you know what? Regardless of what it could have been, that doesn't really matter anyways, because you got this is a 5-game season coming up.
That's absolutely right. And, Bernie Champion, we've talked in the previous few weeks about this game against Champion and then Alamo Heights, how it's become a little more of a rivalry game. And a lot of that has to stem from the fact that Medina Valley beat Champion twice as big underdogs.
Yep.
The first time they beat them, I remember when we called that game. That was a very exciting game down to the wire, and Medina Valley wasn't supposed to win that football game,
weren't.
And they did. And they've played Alamo Heights down to the wire on some occasions. They've played some very close games against them, and that rivalry's gotten a little chippy over the years. So, these kids are going to be ready to play against Champion, I think. I don't think it matters that Champion's probably heavily favored. Don't think it matters that they've, we always hear, well, Bernie Champion, Alamo Heights have another good team this year. I think Medina Valley's going to be able to play with them Friday night, and I think that if they don't commit the errors, the mental errors, and some of the penalties, that they're in the football game.
Yep.
But they're going to have to get some turnovers in that game defensively. But I think that's a very winnable game for the Panthers, and hopefully, they'll be 1-0 in district next week when we're back on. Also had Don Holding on here talking about the Galactic Wrestling that he's involved with. He's a wrestler for them, and they will be out at Shot and Ball on Saturday night.
Which is one of our sponsors.
Yes, and we want to make sure that guys go out there. If you see him at the football game on Friday night, he's got tickets. He'll go up to him, talk to him a little bit. Go out and support Shot and Ball, because they're local business here. They haven't been open that long, only, a year or two now.
And I haven't heard anybody that's went there that's had a bad experience.
Exactly. And so go out and support them, local businesses. You can take your kids out there. It's a family atmosphere. The wrestling's just something to see when you're there, really. Should be exciting.
If you never experienced it, it's worth the admission.
Yeah. So go out there for that. Want to remind everyone that the broadcast this week, Friday night, join the girls volleyball. They'll be on somewhere around 6 or 6:30. They'll be on after the JV game. Also on Tuesday night, they will be on as well around the same time. We'll be on 7 o'clock from Panther Stadium, 6:45 airtime as Medina Valley starts their district run against the Chargers from Bernie Champion as they come to Panther Stadium. So make sure you tune in for that. I want to thank all the sponsors, as always, for making it possible to bring you these broadcasts here on the Medina Valley Broadcast Network. Thank you to Sammy's Restaurant for letting us do these broadcasts here on Wednesday night. They've always been great to us here, and we enjoy doing them. And so for Maury Stein, I'm Jared Lucky saying good night, God bless, and we will see you next time when Panther